Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro RPG. And this week I would like to present this, Starblazer Adventures, the rock and roll space opera adventure game, as it titles itself. Although it's based on comics which came out in 1979, so I'd have thought they were more punk than rock and roll. But the ethos of the game is sort of 1950s pulp science fiction, as were the comics, so maybe rock and roll does suit. On the back cover, it's got a quote from Ian Livingstone: "Enough star creatures, space fleets, galactic conspiracies, swashbuckling scientists, and alien warlords to keep you and your role-playing friends busy for years." It promises epic adventure. Starblazer Adventures, based on the popular British Starblazer comic series, lets you blast off on a stunning space opera adventures using the award-winning Fate RPG system. Everything you need: a complete standalone game for rock and roll space opera adventure. Choose from 8 alien races or play an entire star empire. Inside you'll find new fate rules for alien powers, robots, vehicles, starships, giant war machines, galaxy-spanning conspiracies, equipment and careers. Also 3 complete settings with over 200 worlds, 70 heroes, alien races, monsters and starships. Plus an introductory adventure, adventure scenes, plot and planet generators for over 400 pieces of inspirational art from the pages of Starblazer comic. Now I'll cover that on the desktop in just a wee second, but just a reminder that if you'd like to support the channel, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, then there's a Patreon down in the description below. So if you click on that, you can see what we offer. It'd be very much appreciated. But let's have a look at Starblazer Adventures. So, this is Starblazer Adventures, a role-playing game by Cubicle 7, which came out in 2008. And it's based on the Starblazer comics, which came out from 1979 up till 1991. Now, I cover in a separate video my small collection here of these comics, but they are generically science fiction. They tend to have different stories, different settings every issue, although it does feel sort of 1950s pulpy in style. And these rules use the Fate system, which does get that across quite well. But the point to be made is that Starblazer came out for a 12-year period with 2 issues a month. So there's a whole load of stuff to go into this. And it is a very major book. This is 600 pages long. So it's going to be a very quick leaf through it. Otherwise, this video will just take hours. Now, the artwork in it is lifted from the comics. So if we flick through a few pages, we've got the contents page, we've got thanks, we've got an intro, we've got the system license, the OGL, from Wizards of the Coast. We've got an introduction from Ian Livingstone, who wrote the Fighting Fantasy game books and helped found Games Workshop, who talks about the influence that the creativity of Starblazer had on him. And so many authors did. There's a whole load of comic authors which absolutely love Starblazer. And the artwork, as I said, is lifted directly out of the issues. So this is a very well illustrated book. It talks about that it's space opera. We've got an introduction to the Fate rules. What is a role-playing game? How should you play it? Who do you play with? What do you mean by a storyteller? And then we've got a small introductory story. I don't know whether this is from a particular issue. There's obviously not a full story there, just a few pages, but it's lovely stuff. Cast of it, the basics. We've got a character sheet and the very basic rules. As I said, it uses the Fate system, so allows players a lot of input into what their characters do. It is a very creative style of game. We've got character creation, where there's so many ideas that you're building up your character. You know, you've got different types of skills here, but you're also building them up from the generic type of character they're going to be, their careers. So you can be a civilian, diplomats, explorers, and the things that they've got special to them. You know, why being a military officer gives you abilities beyond that of being a civilian. As I said, the artwork, it's somewhat variable, as the artwork within Starblazer was, but it's all very creative, very great stuff. I do like this style, as I grew up with it. I was reading Starblazer at age 8, So this brings a lot of nostalgia with me. Different types of weapons, although the Fate system isn't very weapon based. Different equipment. Neutron bombs, neutron warheads. All the comics they have to sort of detail out what these items are. Access to services, improving things, some modification rules. You got the aspects. Now, what elements of your character are special? So, a few credits more, a fistful of truth, a good day to die. These are story elements that you can bring in, which give you fate points if the Games Master activates them, or you can get bonus things on your dice if you bring them into the story. I noticed one there, Scottish engineer. Tagging people in. Then we're onto the skills list and how skills work. An interesting system where you're rolling a plus dice and a negative dice. You can actually roll minus on your dice. Just a big list of skills. Fixing stuff, guns, intimidation, might, mysteries, rapport, piloting, different science skills, engineering. Lots and lots of skills in here. As I said, I'm trying to flick through as quickly as possible because with 600 pages to get through, we've got a lot here. We're still going through different types of skills, personal gadgets, universal gadgets, army of one, know when to fold them in gambling, fast reloading for guns. So rather than just making a generic guy who knows how to shoot, there's lots of things you can modify that with and be a guy with a gun in a particular fashion. So a sharpshooter, a sniper, somebody who draws their gun fast, different types of pilots, just to make your hero particularly tailored to how you want to play him. Starship gunnery, fighter races, so many skills and abilities. And we're on to fate points and how they work. As I said, the system's very much based about activating, or the Games Master activating your elements to bring them into the storyline, and you gain fate points for that, or you can spend fate points to introduce your own points into the storyline, and gain bonuses on your skill dice. How to do things, so going into the rules in a bit more detail. How to resolve attacks, maneuvers, companions, advances on your rolls. Onto the games mastering section. How to run the game. Got a section on character advancement, basic scaling, alien races and mutations. So we go on to the abilities that various races can have that you can introduce to them, and then we'll go on to some races. No, we're on to star monsters and war machines with the Dram, which, as I mentioned in my other video, is very much based on Gilala, a Korean kaiju. What else we got? Fate points for vehicles and monsters, because of course everybody has their fate. Star empires and battle fleets, so it's very heavily into space combat. I've heard of people using the fate rules and Starblazer's rule set itself for things like Star Wars, Star Trek, because it is just so generic, because it has to cover all of the different comics which came out over the period. Got mandroids and robots. Very cool large robot there. We're going through different types here. So Federation Warbot call sign Alpha 2525. Vehicle skills. Then we've got the Starship creation. Starship system skills and stunts. The ways of modifying it, whether you're creating a mining ship, a salvage ship, where they've got special sensors, maneuvering systems, faster than light drives, different types of weapons, unusual, super weapon, restricted, defensive systems. We've got the starship aspects, because like a character, a starship can invoke its aspects to gain fate points or improve. So, decommissioned Hulk. The ship is a decommissioned military vessel, and the ship's computer system retains some of its previous incarnation. So, the Games Master could invoke that it's a decommissioned Hulk, so when you're trying to repair it, you can't find parts, and you would gain a fate point for that. But you could invoke during combat that the ship still has military records on board it about the enemy you're fighting, so it gives you an advantage in the battle. Now, these things have various elements. Some of them seem a bit more negative than positive, some seem more positive than negative. Steers like a cow. The advantages of the negative ones, you will get more fate points because they will be invoked more. Positive ones, you won't get fate points, but you can get advantage far more often. Sample aspect names. How to do things with starships. I do love the sketches and the rules because they are very much my art quality. I am not very neat writer. I do not draw well. I do very generic sketches and things for my players. And I do like the way the rules indicate that you don't have to be an expert map maker. Repair and improvement, repair facilities, starship combat example, what the player characters do, and then we've got starship templates, different types of starships from various issues of Starblazer. So medium freighters, pirate attack ships, star patrol cutters, frigates, advanced alien cruisers, explorer ships, fleet carriers. Looks very much like an aircraft carrier in space, maybe more like the Wing Commander games. A command cruiser, orbital military base, collaborative campaign creation. Because fate does invoke the player's influence in the game a lot, a suggested method of play is that the Games Master and the players will create the campaign together, deciding what's going to happen. Got plot stress. So, constructing Starblazer legends, different types of encounters, random tables, different ideas here, random diplomacy, complications, space hazards. Then we're on to planet generator, so you can randomly roll up a planet when you arrive at it. Skipping over there, but the planets have aspects, that it's the back end of nowhere. Captain Jim died here. Here be dragons, the greatest alien zoo in the galaxy. Just various ideas of aspects you can invoke on a planet. So when you're visiting that planet, you can invoke those aspects or have them invoked again for fate points. Twisted tips and ideas for the Games Master. Put final showdowns in. What's wrong with it? Wrapping up, improvising like a pro. What happens in play? Look at the big picture. There's lots of Games Mastering hints for making their game more interesting in the Starblazer setting, or Starblazer universe, multiverse. Here we've got Starblazer settings, so Trailblazing Era or Space Cowboys and Smoking Lasers, the leap into space, the solar system, threats to Earth, technology and culture, adventures in a Trailblazing Era, the Thermal Wars, Terran Federation, the Era of Expansion, or Fortress Earth and the Thermal Wars, the Galact Squad and Fighting Scientists. Just so many ideas, because, as I said, this was a 12-year run of comics with 2 issues a month. There is nothing lacking in ideas in Starblazer. Starblazer Worlds, just a big list of all the planets from various issues, along with the issue. So Denspa here was in issue 145, The Caves of Crystal Carbon. Hera was in Return of the Planet Tamer. Magnia, the Magnon Marauders from issue 107. So flip through these, mainly a list of planets with a short background piece of information. Starblazer Legends, so stories they could be involved in. The Star Destroyers. Warworld, Stopping the Vonans. We've got Starblazer Heroes, so various characters out of issues. I believe there's villains as well. Mikhail Arcane. The Star Cops. Rolf, the Suicide Squad, with various characters out of that. Obviously not the DC Suicide Squad. We've got alien races with the various abilities and their powers. Monsters, minions, and mad scientists. These will be the sort of villains ones. So, various abilities they got, and then we've got a list. So we've got replicants, archer and killer robots, jackal execution robots, Zygon bomb robot, golem, TAC 50, Novan, chameleon spitrid, Christos Ebronian lizards, piranha wasps, Coman, who is the villain from my favourite issue, Planet of Fear, of the comic. He's not a big galactic guy, he's just a slightly fat bloke who wants to make profit. Just a dodgy businessman. A human Jabba the Hutt. We've got Lord Algol, Algol the Terrible. The Drawn, which as I said is heavily based on Gilala. Adventure scenes and campaign starters. Just some ideas how to start off, sketches of starships, ideas about relics. We've got a big list of every issue of Starblazer here, along with the artists and authors. So we can see Algol the Terrible, issue 15, was by Grant Morrison and drawn by Grant Morrison. We've got a few famous names in there. I probably won't be able to spot any too quickly as we flick through, but some absolutely fabulous talent involved in writing these. So nice to see early work of these. My eyes just keep getting drawn to all the entries by Grant Morrison, who is a fantastic author, but he's not the only person. Anyway, we've got Appendix 2, Rules Summary, brief covering the rules, useful tables, character skills and stunts, alien monster skills and stunts, starship skills. Then we're on to the various character sheets for players, for ships. We've got a sample Star Patrol character here, and we've got some maps. Very nicely drawn. I do like these. I'm not sure how you would use them, but they're absolutely fabulous to have included. And then we've got the author talking about his introduction to these comics and his introduction to role-playing and why he's done this. It's really nice to have that included. And then we've got the index, where it talks about, or rather it lays out different rules and where you'll find things, but laid out in a more useful format than just alphabetical. So if you're looking through conflict, you've got the various rules within that, rather than having to leaf through a massive big index for each one. Information gathering, nefarious activities, and then we've just got a massive big index itself over the page. Many pages of index, and then some adverts. Solipsist by David Donachie, Kin, The Warring States, Victoriana, all Cubicle 7 games of the time. Spirit of the Century and Dresden Files, which I believe both use the Fate rules as well. I could be mistaken. But that is Starblazer Adventures. I'm so glad I've got it in my collection. Starblazer was so much part of my youth, and I was totally shocked to find it came into a role-playing game after it disappearing for so long. I thought everybody else had just forgotten about it. And it is such a major, big, heavy book. Fabulous stuff. But anyway, I've whittled on for far too long as usual. So thank you very, very much for sticking with me and listening to me speak. But anyway, most importantly, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.